Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and yes, we are about to do it. We are about to take a look at the first teaser trailer for Avengers Doomsday, the Steve Rogers trailer. You've probably all seen it, but we're going to take a look at it anyway, and then we're going to talk about the reaction to it, because the reaction is very mixed. Of course, when it leaked, we saw the massive backlash from people screaming at the top of their minds, "Oh, you're taking away the agency of Sam Wilson." And it's like, are you kidding us? But then you're seeing people who are excited, but then there's that middle ground where it's like, oh, there was no reaction whatsoever. There's also some interesting things, but first of all, let's just take a look at this teaser trailer that confirms that Steve Rogers is back. And keep in mind, because all the people are saying, oh, they're going to bring him back, Cap is back to take away from our Cap, which is Sam Wilson. It doesn't say Steve Rogers Captain America will return. It simply says Steve Rogers will return. But here is the trailer. Let's take a look. Alright, there it is. As you can see, he pulls up on the bike, he gets off, he walks up to a house, you see the baby, all that good stuff in the suit for a brief second, and that he'll probably never put on in the movie and all this stuff. And keep in mind, we could be seeing him there with the baby and smiley and happy, and everyone's going, Steve Rogers has a son and blah blah blah. This is probably still going to be Nazi Cap. Keep that in mind. Because from what we understand, Nazi Cap is still supposed to show up in this movie. This could still be the Steve Rogers that went back in time, but realistically, they would have to undo everything from Endgame with him going back. Because when you think about all the events that he sat out, like the Cold War, 9/11, Vietnam, all of this stuff that he let all of that stuff happen, it made no sense. So you would have to do something to really erase that. And at this stage, you can't, because we've all seen it and it was the decision they made. But what's interesting, now the trailer's not ratioed by any means. I think the dislikes would upset Marvel and Disney. Like, it's not in triple figures, but it is in double figures, but high double figures. But it's not getting ratioed by any means. But here's the interesting thing. An article came out with the headline saying Chris Evans' Avengers Doomsday teaser explodes with over 1 million likes in 1 hour. The question I would have then is, where? Because the official Marvel YouTube channel, it's not 1 million likes. It's not even close to 1 million likes. It's 680,000 upvotes to 26,000 downvotes. That 26 is the high number in the downvotes that I don't think they'd be happy about. But it's at 681,000 upvotes, not 1 million. So where did they find and see that it made 1 million likes in an hour? Like, what website or channel did they look at for that? It's weird. I don't get that. There's nothing negative really in the comments. It's kind of all just talking about because of the leaks, they were pretty much forced to put it out. But then you have that question of the disappointment and backlash. Now, we've seen all the nutballs going absolute backcrap crazy. But if you want to hear some double standards, the one and only Grace Randolph has got some of the most window-licking takes you've ever heard. And I pulled this clip because I thought this just sums up what the reaction is, how you get people to the cinema. When you think of all the female characters that they shoveled in to these movies on purpose, remember, Feige is the one who says, I want more female heroes than male heroes. All that stuff, thinking they were going to bring in the female audience. And even Grace Randolph today is looking at the poster of all the cast for Doomsday, and she's like, where are all the women? Why is there so many men? Where's the MCU gone? And all this stuff. Wait till you hear what she talks about here. Now, she's trying to play down the importance of Chris Evans and Steve Rogers coming back to the movie. But it's interesting how she starts off this with a comment from someone she knows. Take a look at this.
Forget. I'll start the Q&A in a second. I'll never forget when I was talking to somebody when back in the day, and I was like, oh, are you excited for the new Avengers movie? And this woman who had no interest in comic books whatsoever was like, oh, I'm going to go for Steve Rogers because Chris Evans is so hot. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Although Chris Evans has made a lot of bad movies since then. I wonder if he still has the same pull as Steve Rogers as he did in his heyday. You know, you can't always go back.
So her friend, or this person she knows, was literally only going to see the movie because she thinks Chris Evans was hot. You heard that right. Because this person thought that the male character was hot, that was her reason for going to see the movie. And then you see Grace talk about, oh, Chris Evans has done a lot of flops since he left Marvel, and like, does he still have the power to bring people back and all this crap? Grace, I don't know if you know this, but almost every one of them who has done other movies since they did all the Avenger movies and their own Marvel movies have been in absolute bombs, including Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. has only done one movie that was successful since he stepped away from Iron Man, and that movie was Oppenheimer. Everything else he did was an absolute bomb, none more so than the Dr. Dolittle remake, which was also for Disney. So keep that in mind when you're saying this stupid type of crap. But then, of course, you get to the whole thing of the disappointment of the debut for the trailer, because we knew you were going to see some artificially created response in theaters, because, and it was funny, people were saying it. I remember seeing Gary from Nerdrotic saying, like, I guarantee you Marvel will try and actually tell people, bring your phones and record the reactions. And you can see that it's all crap, but you've seen some of the footage of people like losing their minds in the theaters, which at this stage, it could be anything that was recorded in the past, just with the Doomsday trailer imprinted over it. But we're getting real people's reactions and hearing what their cinemas were like when the trailer came on. So this says here, Chris Gore from Film Threat said that a hush fell over his Burbank, California theater when the green band appeared before the trailer. This is him now, you could hear everyone catching up their breath, getting excited, Gore added. Well, that happened. They showed it, no reaction. He noted that even in a Dolby Atmos theater with the best image and sound, no one clapped. WDW Pro experienced a similar muted response to Rogers' Doomsday return. Pro prefaced his statement noting that it was purely anecdotal, but added that the Avengers trailer landed with a thud. He speculated that perhaps many in his auditorium had already seen the trailer that leaked online. Still, the lack of enthusiasm was noteworthy. And this is a pattern we've been seeing happening, because there's a lot more saying like, yeah, there's been a lot of kind of responses in the theatre where there was no reaction. And even Gary from Nerdrotic at his theatre in Texas went to see, obviously, Avatar. And like that, the trailer came on for Doomsday and no reaction. No one clapped. No one gasped. Nobody was talking about it after the trailer. So it does seem to be a very mixed and muted response to this trailer. You have people who were vigorously against the idea of Steve Rogers coming back. You have the others who are like, no, the true Captain America is back, and rightfully so. Even though we know he will be probably a different version. There's even rumours now that he will actually be Nova and stuff like that. And then you get the very non-response, which is people just kind of go, okay, is the movie starting now that we came to see? Like, it's insane. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes and what happens. And of course, we know there's still 3 more trailers to come. Yes, the second trailer already leaked with 4. There's already talks that 3 and 4 will leak. So they're obviously leaking it themselves. Like, let's face it, they're obviously doing it to try and get the buzz and the hype. But at this stage, yeah, I just don't really see the enthusiasm for this movie. You know, it's weird. It's interesting, but it's weird. And will it put asses in seats? I don't think so. I really don't. And the idea that people think, oh, why are they bringing him back but not some of these characters? Because half of the characters that haven't been announced are going to be in here. They have not revealed everybody. And the one thing to keep in mind that is confirmed is anybody who was only in a TV series, so the likes of Moon Knight and stuff like that, and Echo, won't be appearing in the movie. At least this movie. Who knows about Secret Wars? But what do you guys think about this trailer? What do you think about the reaction? Are you excited to see Steve Rogers come back? Are you disappointed that they had to revert back to bringing him back? Which we knew they were going to be doing. We knew they panicked. We heard the chatter from inside the studio saying at a party they all looked at each other and said, what do we need to do to bring back Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans? That was the conversation. So what do you guys think? Are you on board for it? Are you against it? Do you even care? Is this too little, too late at this stage? Is this just nothing more than a Hail Mary throw to try and save the sinking ship, which, unfortunately for Marvel, has already struck the iceberg and is already halfway underwater? Let me know. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit the hype button. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.